The economy right now is really tough. A lot of people are out of work. A lot of people are trying to save money. And as somebody who's been self-employed for the last 7 years full time, I have run a business very lean. I do not like spending money. It is actually one of the things that I hate more than anything in the world. So I have spent the last many years trying to figure out the best, cheapest way that I can run my business while still having a certain amount of quality. Now, what I have found is that there's a lot of free options out there. There's a lot of cool tools that can have multiple things that allow you to work really easily without breaking the bank. And I think a lot of us right now are looking for these free tools or hacks or shortcuts to kind of just save some money. And so today, I've never done a video like this before. I've done tech stack videos, but I've never come at it from a money angle. So I think I would want to talk about why I've chosen all the softwares that I have specifically to save money. Now, obviously, I'm going to invest in things that make sense. I just bought a new camera last year. I am going to spend money on things, but I am a thrifty person. I thrift all the time. I'm a thrifter, like by nature. I've always been kind of a cheapskate in life, and that's just how my brain works. I like a lot of things, but then I spend little money on all of them. So it's kind of a mix. Right now, I feel like I have found a system that works for me. There's a lot of really cool AI tools that have come out that have been, at least for now, a lot less expensive than other tools that I've used. So I just kind of wanted to walk through my entire stack of what I specifically pay for and then a bunch of free options too. So I hope that you guys check this out and make sure to also subscribe to my Substack. I have tons of workshops. I'm also launching a bunch of new stuff. So make sure to follow my Substack for more. There's gonna be lots of stuff coming in the next couple months. So I'm going to start with different categories and talk about each app and why I chose it and kind of how it saves me money long term. Let's go through my paid stuff first, because I think that's the most important thing to see. What am I actually paying for as a solopreneur? Now, again, I'm a solopreneur. I have no employees. I do not hire people. So everything I do myself. And I actually work for a lot of people as well, doing a lot of their social. So the first thing that I cut last year, which was a huge money saver, was F.G.Funnels. I loved F.G.Funnels. It was a very complicated tool, but it did a lot of things. I just realized that I was starting to use other apps for different parts of it that I'm like, why am I paying $97 a month for this? So I switched and got rid of it. So what I was using it for was for my website. I have switched now to Webflow. Really like Webflow. It's great. If you go to my website, jennaredfield.com, that is on Webflow. You can use Claude with it, but I'm still trying to figure that out. It didn't quite work exactly how I wanted it to, but very cool. A lot of people are switching to more AI apps for their website. I did switch also from ChatGPT to Claude. I was paying $20 a month for chat. Now I'm paying $20 a month to Claude. I still hit limits, which is annoying on Claude, but I'm also using Notion AI. So I'm kind of using both. Now I get Notion AI for free as a Notion ambassador, so that one I don't have to pay for. Otherwise it would be about $20 a month as well. Google Workspace, I pay for Google so that I have a custom domain. That is something I'm switching to eventually because I don't really even use that domain anymore. But I have Google Workspace right now. I also use Google One, which is basically for my cloud storage. I pay $10 a month for Google Photos. I have a terabyte, I believe. I am almost hitting it. I made 80%, which is crazy. So I might have to get rid of some stuff. Some other things I pay for. So I mentioned Webflow. So Webflow is $18 a month, I believe, or $150 annually. Zoom, I pay, I think it's $17 a month or whatever it is, the Pro. I just need that for client calls. You don't want to show up on Zoom and be like, oh, we only have 30 minutes, So Zoom is, and I do a lot of workshops and stuff on Zoom. So for me, Zoom is worth it. Canva, still use Canva. I pay the annual fee. I don't think I'll ever leave Canva unless it just becomes obsolete, but I do think it is still great for a lot of graphics and things. So Canva, I pay for it so I can get my custom fonts and my colors. I think Canva Pro is worth it. Otherwise, you have to pay individually for everything. So Canva Pro. I buy my domains, probably not the best place to buy them, but I use Squarespace. I used to have a Squarespace, so I just had them in there. And it used to be Google domains. And then Squarespace bought Google domains, so they just moved them over to Squarespace. And I'm like, whatever, it's like $15 a year. I'll just keep them on Squarespace. CapCut is $20 a month. So I use CapCut professionally for all of my video clients, for all the subtitles, everything. CapCut Pro on desktop, I need that as a video business owner. That is one expense that I have to pay every month. Kindle Unlimited, I consider this a business expense because almost all the books that I read are business or nonfiction books. So I pay, I think, $13 a month. You basically get tons and tons of options for books. It might be something I eventually leave, but I've had it for years and it is something that I actually do use. And then the last one that I pay for, I think this is it. Like I'm trying to rack my brain if there's anything else I pay for. ThriveCart. So a lot of people wonder like, where do I host my courses? I use ThriveCart. ThriveCart is great for checkouts. It's great for courses. It's great for, like instead of doing like an invoice, people just buy my services through ThriveCart. When I switched from F.G. So great. I think that it's great. So basically I paid $700 4 years ago, and it's paid off. It's paid itself off. And so now I don't have a monthly place that I have to pay to host my course. There are some changes coming to ThriveCart. I haven't really been paying attention too much, but I do think that some people are pissed about it. So now everyone's thinking about leaving to go somewhere else. But that's just what I use right now. So those are all the things that I currently pay for my business. And you know, if you add it up, it's probably around 100 a month, maybe more, 150. But that's really it. Like I don't have that many expenses. And, you know, obviously I have to pay for my electricity and my Wi-Fi and stuff, but I work from home, so I don't have an office, or I'll go to a coffee shop. Sometimes I have to pay for coffee. I do a lot of stuff on the road, so I'm filming with people. Obviously all of my video equipment I had to pay for, but I have, you know, that's not really like a monthly expense. And mostly I just use my phone. I use my my mics. I do have mics. I actually have a full list of all of my equipment. It's actually part of my Substack. So if you join my $5 a month Substack, I have a full list of all my stuff inside of my resource library, which also includes replays of things. So I highly recommend joining that to get that resource, because it's really valuable if you're like, I want the best value for everything. I have spent a lot of time figuring out what makes sense. So that's all the stuff that I use that's paid. Now, what do I actually use for free? Like what all the rest of my business? So the main thing obviously that I use is Notion. Notion has made so much impact for me in terms of having me eliminate different apps that I use. For example, I don't have to use a Calendly because Notion has their own calendar scheduler. I don't have to use Otter or any transcription tool because Notion has their own transcriptions. I will say there is one I forgot. I do spend $25 a year on something called Whisper transcription, which allows me to import transcripts that aren't live, like they're recorded. I do still use that, but I have used it a lot less because I use Notion transcription. So I will say that is something that I definitely use a lot less, but I still think $25 a year is pretty good. I can also use tools like Zapier and stuff to send things automations. So Claude also works a lot with the stuff that I'm doing too. So Claude and Notion together are taking up a majority of my time in terms of the things that I have to spend time doing. Like I mentioned before, I was using F.G. One of the things F.G. is used for is email marketing. And over the last couple of years, I've realized that the thing that I need most is a newsletter. So I switched to Substack last year at the beginning of the year, and it has been amazing. Substack is where I host my podcast. So I don't have to pay for podcast producing or podcast hosting. I edit the podcast myself, or if I go to the studio, which I have a deal with them, so it's a long story. Basically, my podcast basically takes almost $0. It's just me and my time to promote it and that sort of thing. It's not super expensive. I edit everything myself if I need to. For many years, I was an editor myself. So again, when you have a video and audio editing skills, you don't really have to pay for anything. So all the videos that I do for free. All my YouTube channel is free. Like, again, it's my labor and my time that I'm paying for, but I don't have to outsource it. And that is why, like, I've spent the last 10 years building up all these resources and skills so I don't have to pay for things. And that's just, maybe that's not the best use of my time and maybe not, but that's just how I work. And that's just how I've always been. I'm the kind of person that likes to master things, and I'm really fast at it too. So for me, people come to me, and that's actually what they pay me for, is to teach them how to do things, how to build it for themselves, because I've been able to build my business myself. Everything that I do, I've done myself. Absolutely not, like rarely do I outsource things. I think I outsourced my LLC, maybe a logo once, but like really almost everything that I've done, everything is me. If you see something on my account, I made it. And so I have some pride in that as well. But it is a lot of work. It does take time to learn all this stuff. It does take time. And some people are not willing to spend the time, or they can't, which I totally get. But that's why I always struggle when people like jump from their job to a business. I'm like, a lot of this stuff has taken me years to master, years. And yet I do feel like I've mastered a lot of it. So it is something that I feel like once you're in it I've been an entrepreneur now 12 years. I started my first business 12 years ago. On and off, I've had full-time jobs. I've gone back and forth between being self-employed and having a full-time job, having a part-time job. I've gone back and forth. But for 7 years now, I've basically been fully self-employed. And that, I don't know if I would consider myself an entrepreneur. I'm really just more self-employed, and I have clients. I mean, that's kind of like what I'm doing. Being a content creator is not my full-time job. Unfortunately, I do this as a way to sort of supplement my income, but then also promote myself and my services. So it's kind of a mix of the two. And I love it. I love making content. So for me, my YouTube channel has always been a passion of mine, and I was really able to focus on it a lot more during the pandemic. In 2020 was when I really started making videos. 2021 was when I started making Notion content. And Notion has become a huge part of my business. Doing some consulting, obviously selling the course and the templates, being a Notion ambassador, like that's all stuff that is part of my business, but it's not like the main moneymaker for me. The main one is obviously doing video services. Video pays a lot more, and I'm able to work a lot more locally. So that's really been the thing I've been focused on the last couple of years. And so for me, my YouTube channel is a way to be more creative and just explore all sorts of things. So for me, again, like Notion is really where I store almost everything. I've done a few videos in the past about how I feel like Notion has actually replaced Google Drive for me. I still use Google Photos for videos and photo storage, but for any type of docs, any type of spreadsheets, everything is in Notion, everything. I do not really have anything in Google Drive besides client work. So Notion is now my CRM, so I don't have to use like HubSpot or anything. I use it for project management. I use it for all of my content calendar. I do use a tool called Metricool, which is free to kind of schedule content. Again, free. Meanwhile, I have AI tools like Claude that helps me do research. And that's probably the main thing I do use Claude for is research, but it also does some automations. It does some things, shortcuts that I use it for. And it definitely works really well with Notion. And I've done a few videos on this. One of the things that a lot of business owners don't realize when they first start a business is that marketing for the first at least couple of years is the number one thing you have to spend your time doing. Because if people don't know that you exist, they're not gonna work with you. So a lot of the stuff I do obviously is marketing. I spend time making LinkedIn posts. I post on LinkedIn almost every day. I post a lot on social. I post on Substack. Substack, again, like I mentioned, it's a free platform for me to send out my newsletter and my podcast. I have 2 of them, and I'm now getting paid on that as well. I just launched both of them, now have paid subscriptions, $5 a month. So I'm trying to promote that as well. So I've just really found that I found a lot of free tools. I'm gonna list them all. I've decided. I don't think I wanna go through all of them in this video, but I'm gonna put them on my Substack because there's so many free Chrome extensions, so many like downloads that I've gotten that are just like random hacks that I think are really helpful. So if you go to my Substack, you can find out more. I will have like a list at least of most of them, and then I have the full list on my paid Substack. So that way you can kind of see all that. Plus you can see all my courses and everything. Another thing I wanted to mention is I don't actually go to a lot of courses anymore. There's a lot of free education online. I read books. I go to a ton of networking events. I would say if you had to choose between paying for a course and going to a ton of networking events, go to the networking events. First of all, you're gonna make more connections. Sometimes they have workshops at them, and you're going to potentially get more money because you're meeting people that could potentially hire you. I spend way more of my time networking than I do sitting online watching education. I've also hit a max point of where I'm like, I really can't learn that much more. Being a business owner for many years, like I've read all the books, I've done all the work. And if you're new to business, you might have to go through those years. And that's something that takes time. But I like to help speed up the process. All the stuff that I've done, I've learned what works, what doesn't work. And that's really what I want to share is all the things that I've tried and all the things that have worked for me and what hasn't worked for me in my business. I really think that it's able to be possible to not spend a fortune, to be able to provide for yourself, but you do have to spend the time figuring out, how am I not wasting money? How can I utilize this the best so that I'm not switching between apps every 5 minutes? One of the things that I think a lot of people waste time on and money is they switch apps. They pay for a really expensive app, they realize they don't need it, and then they have to pay someone to switch it to another app. And it's just like, okay, just pick one, do the research first, figure out what you need, work with a consultant like me who can tell you what to do and what not to do. One of the things that I've done a lot in the past is people will just hire me to tell them what apps to use because they're like, I don't want to spend 6 months building up this tool and then realize I don't even need to use it. I always say start with a free tool and then see what you need beyond that. Because if you can find a free tool that does what you need, then figure out what tools you need after that. Like if you really wanted to, you do not need a website. You could use like a bit.ly link. You could use link in bio type software. You could use so many things and then just send them to a Notion page, or you can send them. So a lot of people are like, I can't afford a website. If you can't afford a website, you're probably not gonna be able to start a business. That is just one thing I have learned. You do need to invest a little bit up front. But the first thing I ever did was I started an Etsy shop. And I paid 20 cents to list something on Etsy. And I remember I got the first sale, I sold it for 10 bucks and it blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, do you know the ROI on that? On that 20 cents? And it made me realize, I was like, I can do this. And so I think a lot of people just need to start, they just need a push to just try it, see what works, reiterate that, do it again, and then move on to the next thing. So anyways, I hope that this video was helpful. Make sure to read my full Substack if you want all the links to everything. But I just wanted to share with you guys, again, this is not a good economy right now, we know that, but it is still possible to run a lean business in 2026. So I hope that you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys hopefully at one of my workshops. Make sure to go, again, I've probably been promoting my Substack too much in this video, but make sure to go check it out so that you can learn more all about the Notion and Claude workshops I'm gonna be doing in the next couple months, and hope to see you there.